All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going over now to the last segment of the main card for tonight. And tonight it's all about, well, this last segment anyway. Well, actually, yeah, because when you have a main event, it's all about that. Tonight's all about that. So tonight is all about one thing. This main event is all about one thing. This is all about 8 matches that I would show non-wrestling fans. And these matches can either turn them into wrestling fans, or they'll just enjoy them far more than they expected. Because my thought process around it is like this. People have this thing that, obviously when it comes to non-wrestling fans, they don't want to see anything that has to do with wrestling. They think wrestling is the dumbest thing that they've ever seen or heard of. Even though we come from a time when literally the whole world was once following wrestling. The whole world where wrestling was just the thing. It was a norm. Wrestling was not something that was weird. It was the norm. It was what people were watching on a daily or, weekly basis at the time. Well, here anyway. It was a weekly basis. So, we've moved away from that time now, and wrestling has somehow become this underground thing, so to speak, where if you are a wrestling fan, it's like, ooh, wow, where do they even make you? Tell me so I can go to that place and shut it down. My goodness. So that's the environment today. So what I'm going to be doing, right, is I'm going to be naming a list that I compiled, my own list of 8 matches that I would show people who are not wrestling fans. And this list will achieve one of 2 things. It will achieve turning those people into wrestling fans, or it'll achieve the feeling of making those people actually enjoy those matches. Because the moment people see something that's wrestling related on TV, they just shut down and they just don't even open themselves up to even enjoying what they're seeing, right? They don't even give themselves a chance, because it's like, what is this? That's their thought process. And I kid you not when I say this. When I first started doing this show, and I pointed out on social media that it's about wrestling, people who weren't even listening to the show, they took that poster that I put up where it's what I'm talking about I'm doing this wrestling show, and here's what I'm talking about at the moment. They took that post and shared it online and said some of the most distasteful things. Not the fact that what I was talking about is like offside or anything, or it's wrong, because I remember I was speaking about a certain topic at the time. I'm not sure whether it was it was upcoming matches. Yeah. They just talked about the fact that talked about the fact that these people are talking about wrestling on radio. What the hell? What is going on? What is wrong with that place? Are they is that presenter out of his mind? Is that presenter even clever? Like, that presenter must be so stupid. They just took it there. So what I decided to do now is that put together this list, show it to even the most saltiest and staunchiest of people who are just out there to not like wrestling, and just either turn them into fans or make them enjoy those matches, because it's very hard to do so in Yanishem. It's like we are just an endangered species around here. I don't know why. It's like, ooh, we're not even supposed to exist. Like, what are we doing on this earth? So before I name this list, I'm seeing here there's a comment on social media from, hey brother man, I'm not sure how you say your name, so I'm not sure if I'm going to butcher it or not. This is from at Adehayemib. You'll correct me on Twitter if I said your name right, but it's at Adehayemib, ne? When I was announcing, we're about to go into the last segment now, where he comments and says, LOL, you can't turn a non-wrestling fan to a fan, because no matter how good the match is, they will still point out the mistakes and some unrealistic scenarios due to it being scripted. And to a certain degree, I understand that. That's why I actually turned to these specific 8 matches, right? And to some degree, like I said, I understand that, and that's why I turned to these specific 8 matches, right? Because these matches have the capacity, even though you're a non-wrestling fan, these matches have the capacity to pull you in, and for you to actually forget the fact that, but this is quote-unquote scripted, right? So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is the list. Okay, well, here's my list of 8 matches that I'm just gonna flip through the list, like just bring up the list, because I already, like, I have notes, people. I prepare, okay? I prepare. So here's my list of 8 matches that I would put to a non-wrestling fan to make them enjoy it, right? So this list is not a top 8, right? This is just a list of 8 matches that I would put. So here's the list, and I think I should just tweet it out bit by bit each time I do it. Now I think I should just tweet it out. Okay, I'm actually gonna tweet it out after I'm done, actually, just to maintain the flow of the episode, right? I don't want to be that person. Just to maintain the flow of the episode. All right, so here's the list of 8 matches that I would show a non-wrestling fan to either make them into a wrestling fan, or just make them enjoy themselves and actually enjoy the match, and ultimately probably respect professional wrestling. But I have to put this disclaimer out there, while I'm naming these matches. When I'm naming these matches, yes. So what I'm not going to be doing is revealing the result of the matches, meaning I won't reveal how the match ended. I won't reveal who the winner was, who the loser was, right? And what I will try to do as well is to not reveal the winner indirectly, because in some of these matches there's 2 matches here that ultimately lead to a rematch of some sort, right? Of which there's no point in you watching the second match, which is the rematch, if you haven't watched the first one, because you're not going to fully enjoy it, right? So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to make sure I won't reveal the result of the match, but I will contextualize it as best I can for you, so that when you go into like watching that match, you will actually be into the story as well. But what some of these matches do, especially 7 of them that are here, only one match doesn't do this, which is going to be the first one that I name. Only the other 7 matches, they do this. Whenever you have a match, they're going to show you a vignette or a promo before the match that's going to explain the whole story to you. That's what the WWE does. They're going to explain the whole story to you, so you can understand why this match is happening, and you can understand the whether it be repercussions, or what happens if certain person wins, or what happens if certain person loses, etc., etc. So the first match that I'm giving you guys as non-wrestling fans, the first match that you should watch as a non-wrestling fan, is John Cena versus CM Punk from the 25th of February edition of Raw. 25th of February 2013 edition of Raw. This match had a stipulation on it, in the sense that whoever wins this match will face The Rock at WrestleMania 29, right? So Cena that year had won the Royal Rumble, and thus qualified to face The Rock at WrestleMania 29. But then somewhere along the line, he got the challenge of CM Punk, and before he could get to The Rock, he started to take the challenge of CM Punk, and if he's actually good enough to beat CM Punk, then he should go face The Rock. But at the same time, a lot of the people wanted to see CM Punk face The Rock, because of the fact that CM Punk felt he was wronged in him losing his championship against The Rock at the Royal Rumble, as well as at the Elimination Chamber. So Cena and Punk go head-to-head on Monday Night Raw on the 25th of February 2013 to see who's going to face The Rock at WrestleMania. And the reason why I picked this match is because if you watch it at any time, even if you know who the winner is, you can watch it again and again, because it's such a great match and the crowd is amazing. And I think that's a trend that you're going to notice about all these matches that I'm putting here. That one of the crowd was really into the match. The second one sees John Cena featured again Match number 2 here sees John Cena featured again, but this time it's John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016. Now, this was a SummerSlam after Money in the Bank, where John Cena faced AJ Styles for the second time overall. AJ Styles faced John Cena for the first time. AJ Styles, yes, faced John Cena for the first time at Money in the Bank prior to SummerSlam. But that match ended in controversial fashion because we had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson interfering, causing AJ Styles to win. Now, this was a huge deal because of the fact that even John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, on commentary was pissed at the fact that Gallows and Anderson would ruin such a great match. So ultimately, Cena put out the challenge for Styles to face him at SummerSlam without the help of Gallows or Anderson. No interference, no nothing, just two of them in the ring against each other. This match is special because number 1, the crowd. Number 2, John Cena. Number 3, AJ Styles. Number 4, John Cena versus AJ Styles. Number 5, Mauro Ranallo is heading the commentary team, because this match was a SmackDown Live match, and at the time, Mauro Ranallo was the head commentator. Is it head commentator? Is that what it's called? The official term? I don't know what it's called. Is it play-by-play? Yes, play-by-play commentator. Yes. So Mauro was the one guy who was the head commentator or the play-by-play commentator for that match, for SmackDown Live, and ultimately for that match. So now you have Cena and Styles. And all I can tell you about this match is, like I said, you have to watch it from start to finish. You have to get the entire story. You have to watch the vignette that airs before the match, because the fact that it contextualizes it best for you as to why this is such a big deal. Because a lot of people at the time were not so familiar with AJ Styles, because of the fact that he had recently debuted at the WWE that year, which was last year in 2016. So John Cena versus AJ Styles is the second match that I think non-wrestling fans should watch. The third match is a classic. This one is simply Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. The context of this match is the fact that Shawn Michaels, who we all know, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, was looking for a challenge because he felt that he had done it all. So he was looking for a challenge at WrestleMania, and the challenge that he got was The Undertaker. Now, I like what The Undertaker says in one interview, where I think it was an interview that he did with for Triple H's DVD, That Kingdom Come, where he literally says, the matches that I had with Shawn, those speak for themselves. So what I will say at this point in time is that for you non-wrestling fans who have also watched wrestling back when it was quote-unquote cool, because it's still cool, you recognize Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. You recognize The Undertaker, the Phenom, the Dead Man. Now, watch the match that they had at WrestleMania 25. Watch it in its entirety, from vignette to all the way until the last pinfall, all the way up until the whole thing ends. Watch the entire thing and listen as well. Listen to the crowd, listen to the commentary. You will enjoy it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, also at number 4, we have Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Because the previous match that I just gave you right now is WrestleMania 25. Now you have to watch also the rematch at WrestleMania 26. When you watch WrestleMania 25, that match, you will understand why there's a rematch at WrestleMania 26. And at the same time, as I said, watch the match in its entirety, from vignette all the way till the end. And you will not, trust me, you will not be sorry. You will thank me later, right? So, at number 3, to recap, it's Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. And at number 4, it's Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Now, obviously, I can't go into further detail because then I'm going to be telling you about what happened in WrestleMania 25 as to who won and who lost. So, ultimately, I'll just say, watch the WrestleMania 25 match, Then after that, watch the WrestleMania 26 match. Right. At number 5 is one of 3 entries in NXT. Now remember, this is just my list. I'm not saying, like I said, this is not a top 8 list. This is just 8 matches that I would show non-wrestling fans. Number 5 here is a match that I think, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if I haven't watched all other NXT takeovers prior to this one. Nah? I don't think I had. But the first one because the thing is with me, I was that guy who, I'm very hard to convince on a lot of things, right? So it took a while for me to be convinced to actually give NXT a chance, like the takeovers. So Oluwaze convinced me that, I have to watch NXT Takeover, because he was literally enjoying it, he was enjoying it throughout the entire time, and he said, no, dude, watch this. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna watch it. So I think the first NXT Takeover that I actually watched and paid great attention to was NXT Takeover Dallas in 2016. And when that event started, I didn't watch it in bits and pieces. I watched the whole thing. And then when that event started, the first match of that event, and it's the match that I'm put here at number 5, American Alpha versus the Revival for the NXT Tag Team Championships. American Alpha consists of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Now, American Alpha qualified to face the Revival at TakeOver Dallas in 2016. And so they were the number 1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The reason why I put this match here is because I literally had no idea who I was watching. But by the end of that match, I knew who the Revival was. By the end of that match, I knew who American Alpha was. And I was on the bandwagon. I got on the bandwagon. I was like, you know what? Don't leave me behind. I am coming over to the entire NXT bandwagon right now. Fully. I mean it fully. This match did it for me. Everything about this match was amazing. There was one moment which wasn't amazing, but you'll see it when you watch the match. But everything about this match was amazing. The crowd, as Corey Graves said it best, the crowd was nuclear for that match. Nuclear. Literally nuclear, because he said, this is our WrestleMania. Because TakeOver Dallas was before WrestleMania. Right? So this was NXT's WrestleMania. This was NXT's own WrestleMania. This was before WrestleMania 32, right? So this was happening in Dallas. So this was NXT's WrestleMania. So the crowd was hot, was waiting for NXT TakeOver. And that was the first match. And Kevin Owens said it, in that WrestleMania, in that WWE 24 WrestleMania Dallas feature. If you're not first, if you're not last, you want to be first. Yes, that's what he said. If you're not last, you want to be first. This match was the first match, and I'll leave it at that. So watch American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable versus Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival, at NXT TakeOver Dallas in 2016 for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Right. Now at number 6. Oh, wow. At number 6. Now, this match surprised me for the longest time. Now, I was surprised by it because of the fact that I was so surprised at how I just got drawn in, because I almost didn't give it a chance. At number 6, we have Ember Moon versus Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Orlando. This was this year in 2017. Now, what happened over here was the fact that I did not know who Asuka was facing. But the moment I saw the vignette that aired before the match, I was like, well, okay, wait a minute. Why am I interested all of a sudden? Because I saw Ember Moon. I didn't know who Ember Moon was. I saw Ember Moon that was the first time I saw Ember Moon. Because like I said, it took me a while to get onto the NXT bandwagon fully. But when I saw Ember Moon, I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm interested. Because you just believed. You believed her. Like, she was believable. And you saw that, whoa, this woman looks like she's quite something. Like, she's quite good. So this match literally delivered. Because one of the top, if not the number one ranked NXT women's match of all time would have to be Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver Dallas, ne? It did happen at TakeOver Dallas, yes. It would have to be that match. That's ranked number one of all time on NXT's women's matches, if not ranked number one of all time on the overall NXT list. So, Ember Moon versus Asuka at TakeOver Orlando for the NXT Women's Championship. That's a match that you should watch. This match had two females who I would find out when I read up about Ember Moon afterwards, two highly experienced females going at it in the ring. And it's an amazing match to watch because if you follow the story behind it prior to the match, you get enthralled by it greatly. Which leads me to the second last match that I would show non-wrestling fans, which is Ember Moon versus Asuka 2. This one happened at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 this year. This is just a few months ago. And all I can say to you is, when you watch this match, you will only get into it fully if you've watched the first match. If you watch Asuka versus Ember Moon from TakeOver Orlando, you will fully enjoy Ember Moon versus Asuka 2 from TakeOver Brooklyn this year. So I'll leave it at that because I don't want to reveal who won or who lost or whatever. I don't want to reveal any more of that story. Just watch the match. And the very last match that I will show a non-wrestling fan to either turn them into a wrestling fan or make them enjoy themselves and respect pro wrestling. And this will be surprising to a lot of people when they hear it. It's the Rhodes family versus the Shield from Battleground in 2018. Man, that was a match and a half. And the Rhodes family was Cody Rhodes and Goldust, which also included the legendary Dusty Rhodes, who was at ringside, versus the Shield. And they were facing Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in the ring, and Dean Ambrose was ringside for the Shield. The story around this match was so compelling. It was literally the common man versus the authority, where Cody Rhodes and Goldust lost their jobs. They got fired by Triple H. They got fired by the authority. And their father tried to fight for them and literally put out the challenge. You know what? Sort it out in the ring. Sort it out in the ring. Give them a chance. Because Cody Rhodes and Goldust were literally just relentless. So at the time, the Shield was the hardest thing. The Shield were seen as the baddest people in the entire roster. No one could match up with the Shield. And the Shield was working for the authority. I remember this one great scene where the entire roster is on the ramp, is on the entranceway, on the stageway, and they can't get into the ring because the Shield is guarding the ring. 3 guys. How? If you had that security force, you would be amazingly awesome. So the Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns were the top faction, the top stable, the top team in the entire WWE. They had beaten pretty much everyone that they've been, put against, that is. So now you put the Rhodes family, the Rhodes brothers, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, against the Shield, where if the Rhodes brothers win, they get their jobs back. But if they don't win, then they stay fired. All I can tell you is that match, that crowd, that commentary, the moments that were in that match did not disappoint. That match remains to me as one of my favorite matches of all time. It's like a hidden gem. People did not expect that match to be as good as it was. When I say people, I'm referring to fans. But that match had everyone on the edge of their seat, and the crowd was fire. The crowd was so electric. The crowd was so hot for that match. All I can tell you is that you won't be disappointed when you finally watch that match. The Rhodes family, Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, The Shield, at Battleground 2013. Right. So I'm just going to recap all these matches just one more time for you so that you don't forget them, right? So 8 matches that I would show non-wrestling fans to turn them into wrestling fans or make them enjoy themselves for that time and actually respect professional wrestling afterwards. First match would be John Cena versus CM Punk on the 25th of February 2013 edition of Monday Night Raw. Second match is John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016. The third match, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Match number 4 is Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Match number 5, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, American Alpha versus Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, The Revival at NXT TakeOver Dallas in 2016. Match number 6, Ember Moon versus Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Orlando in 2017. Match number 7, Ember Moon versus Asuka 2 for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. That's this year in 2017. And finally, the match that runs it all off. Match number 8. The Rhodes family, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, and The Dream, Dusty Rhodes, versus The Shield, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose at Battleground in 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, those matches, they will either turn you into a wrestling fan or they will make you respect the professional wrestling business, because you will definitely enjoy yourself when you're listening to them.